Welcome to a new episode of Rodeo on Tour. This time we start our episode while already on our way to Germany. Driving through Germany is usually accompanied by the usual traffic jams, as a lot of roadworks are carried out. A nice touch is driving through some picturesque towns. Here is a map showing the route as we drove it to the city of Mainz. We found an overnight spot about 30 kilometers before this town. This was a great place to spend the night with, and as you can see, a nice view. The next morning we were early in the old city center. Many shops were not open yet, but this church, the Augustine Church, was already open. The Augustine Church is a Catholic church in the German city of Mainz. The rocky church was built on the foundations of a medieval church by Augustine hermits. The richly decorated interior tends towards Rococo. Large altars are in the Rococo style. The ceiling frescoes were installed by Johann Baptist in 1772.
Too bad the rest of the footage was lost during transfer, so this is sadly all we can show you. But the city of Mainz is most certainly worth visiting. After lunchtime, we left in the direction of the beautiful city of Bamberg. The downside of being on vacation in November is that it gets dark early. It's only 5 p.m. when we park our van in Bamberg. In any case, we wanted to visit the famous city hall. I knew from my parents' stories that they liked it to go there because it was such a beautiful city and especially the city hall was so impressive. Indeed, it was so beautiful that we decided to visit it again the next day in daylight.
For the night we found a quiet but also unusual place to stay, not so far from Bamberg, in the town of Treppendorf. The place to spend the night was in the car park opposite the music shop of an internationally known brand. This music shop is currently under renovation, so when we woke up the next morning, we saw in daylight that we were surrounded by construction equipment.
But enough about that. We are now moving on and want to visit the city of Bamberg again in daylight. A short trip, about 15 minutes, and then we are in Bamberg.
The entire old city center of Bamberg is on the UNESCO World Heritage List. This is because it is still executes that atmosphere of the Middle Ages. The old town hall in Bamberg is one of the most important buildings that characterize the historic city center. It is located between the mountain and island towns in the left arm of the river Regnitz. This location marks the old border between the Escapol mountain town and the civil island town and clearly shows the power struggle to the Bamberg citizens. The nobles lived in the higher part of the city where the bishop had a say. The citizens lived on the other side of the river Regnitz. This river marks the old border between the Escapol mountain and the civil island town. There is a legend that tells that the Bishop of Bamberg did not want to give any of his land to the citizens to build a town hall. The cunning citizens then drove stakes into the Regnitz and created an artificial island on which they built their town hall. The Moorhouse Bamberg has a proud Moor on its facade. This proud Moor, with a golden crown, looks down from the facade at the passing visitors. He has medicine in his barrel and an Asclepian snake winding around his arm as a symbol of his medical and pharmaceutical profession. The pharmacy that used to be in the building proudly used the Moor as its name and trademark for centuries.
There is a lot more to tell and a lot more to see in Bamberg. But with this old house, we end this episode. We hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you next time.